In this tutorial, I'll describe how to create a pattern like this one, the limestone pattern, which is a regular pattern of repeating elements. And the approach we take is slightly different than when doing something like a sandstone. In the sandstone, as you saw earlier, we first created a border and filled it with separate elements, making sure we made a somewhat random pattern. In the limestone, we have a much more regular pattern, so what we do here is we arrange the individual elements first and then use a border to cut out part of it. And the lines within that border should be able to repeat on all sides and make a seamless tiling pattern. And so the key you really want to do is just try and make the smallest sample of these bricks necessary to create a tiling pattern. So again, we're working on two layers, one for testing and one for constructing. So on the constructing layer, I'm going to just click and drag out a rectangle shape here from the shape tool palette, and then I want to duplicate it again by holding down Option key with the black arrow and just dragging it out. I can hold down Shift if I want to lock it into moving on the horizontal, vertical, or 45-degree axis, and then just arrange them in a pattern that I'll demonstrate in a second. Now you can see that I'm trying to line them up, and I think I've done a good job here, but I want to avoid things like, this is an exaggeration, but this sort of thing, or something like that, where they're not quite meeting exactly. And an easy way to do this is to use a tool in Illustrator called Smart Guides. If you go under View, then go down here, you can turn on Smart Guides. It's also activated by hitting, or turned on and off by hitting Command U. Now that I've done that, if I go over any object, it gives me information about the object. So right now it's telling me my cursor is above the path. If I go over the middle of the object, it tells me it's over the center and where it is in the world, things like that. It also constrains how we move things and how they snap together. So now with Smart Guides turned on, if I hold down the Option key and click and drag this out, you can see where the center of one rectangle goes over the edge of another. It tells me it's intersecting. Where the two edges sit right on top of each other, it says intersect now. Now I can let go and I know they'll match perfectly. So I can continue to do that. So I want to put another one here. Then I can grab both of these at once and drag it down till it intersects. And this is really all we need to define that pattern. But now we have to put a border in here that will cut out the pattern and have it repeat properly. So we need this much to get this sort of offset between the top, the middle, and the bottom. If I open up my layers palette here, see each one of these bricks has its own sublayer. Now I'm going to create a new shape for the border, and I wanted to go from the center of this upper left hand rectangle to the center of this one, over to this one, and up to this one. So I'm just going to hover my mouse over till I find the center of this one, click and drag. Oh, that doesn't look right. Yep. Wait till it says center. Click and drag all the way down to the center of this one. Now this is the tile border, and this has to be at the bottom of the stack of sublayers within the construction layer. So I can just move it down to the bottom here. And I can select it, and it has to have no stroke and no fill for it to work. And now I can create a pattern out of this just by selecting everything, including the tile border. I can open up my swatches palette, just move it over here. And now I can, with my black arrow, just select everything on this layer, drag it into the swatches palette, and I get this pattern here. Now let's see if it actually works. So I'm going to hide this and then go on the test layer and then fill it with that pattern. And it seems to be working. Just going to move it over here. And you can see no matter how big I make it, the pattern tiles seamlessly. If I decided I want a tighter pattern, I could select all these elements in the construction layer, hold down Shift to scale them down, then drag them onto that oops, drag them onto the palette, holding down Option onto that swatch I just defined, and now we'll repeat this. So it's pretty easy, it's just a matter of getting everything exactly lined up so it works, and you can make a repeating pattern like this quite simply.